Welcome into the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. I'm excited about today's show, folks. We're going to tell you about an opportunity you have this Halloween to go to Ireland. Oh, I am so jealous. You have no idea. And not only go to Ireland, but go to Ireland with one of the best investigators in the field. Yes, I'm talking about our guest today, Brian J.Cano. Not only one of the best investigators in the field, one of the best investigators, period. We'll put it that way. A man who's been on television many, many times over. You can currently see him on Paranormal Caught On Camera on I believe it's Discovery, Travel Channel, and Discovery Plus. So you can see him in all those. And it may even be on Max. We'll have to bring him in. I'm not going to read his bio. You know his bio. Let's bring him in right now, ladies and gentlemen. Here's Brian J.Cano. Brian, how you doing?
Hey, Tim, how's it going, man? Been a long time.
Good. I'm not going to, the reason I say I'm not going to read your bio is because I think we'd be here all day. They're scared. I know scared is a huge one, and you're still doing stuff as far as scared goes, correct?
You know, I've been resurrecting it. I feel like if Bill and Ted could have Bill and Ted 3, there can be a new Naked Gun movie, like all these things that are coming back. Scared creeped back into some of the things I'm doing. I think it was last year, some friends invited me out to the Madison Seminary in Ohio, and just on a whim, I filmed a little bit of my investigation. I did some solo stuff there, and when I got home, I put it together, not really intending it for it to be anything, just it was really just for me, but it started coming out good, and just it was almost editing itself. And when the time came for me to finish it up and put a title on it, I said, what am I going to call this? Bri Adventures or On the Road? And I just said, you know what? Scared. Yeah. Solo missions. Yeah. Because that's where I started, and that's what I'm still doing. I'm still out there investigating. And I felt it was important to let people know that just because you see me on Paranormal Caught On Camera talking to the camera, it doesn't mean I'm not out there doing. And I feel like a lot of people, especially you get your YouTubers and you get these other groups who are go, 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 go. Well, that was me and Chris Mancuso back in the early 2000s.
Yes.
I'm a lot older now and I'm tired. So the solo missions are a little bit of a return to form for me.
It's funny you say that. You know, I want to get your comment about that because, you know, there are a lot of YouTubers that are running around right now and they're doing investigations. Just lean in on this a little bit with me. I'm not asking you to slam anything that's being done out there, but are you seeing maybe some stuff that's being done out there that you can pick apart a little bit, or some stuff out there that's really ingenious? Are you seeing a little of both out there as you're watching some of this stuff?
Well, you know, Tim, I mean, that's something that probably changes day for me. There are days where I'm just annoyed AF at everything I'm seeing. And then there's other days where I go, oh, okay, that was interesting. I never thought of that before. But if I'm going to go and chastise them for you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, or here, let me give you some advice, I had to pause and say, well, 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago, I was doing that. Me, Chris, Greg, Jay, all of us in Scared were just doing and kind of learning as we go, making it up as we went along, and they're in that phase. So I could give them the greatest advice in the world. They're not going to listen to it because they have to go through it themselves. They have to learn at their own pace. But that being said, the downside to this, almost like the TV shows sometimes, people who are watching them don't know any better and will look to emulate them.
Yeah.
So monkey see, monkey do. They're going to jump off a cliff. So is everyone else who's watching them. And that's something that I don't want. So I intervene when I feel like I have to. There was a clip, speaking of Paranormal Caught On Camera, there was a clip from one of those YouTubers that made it onto our lists. And the minute I saw it, the guy is, demon this, demon that, use my body and possess me so that I can have proof. And I said, oh man, well, this guy's an idiot. But the people watching the show might emulate that because they think, A, he knows what he's doing, and B, because it's on our show, it's a de facto endorsement of said behavior. I folded my arms and I wrote the vice president of the production company. I said, I usually don't do this, but can we not show this or at least cut around it. Like, this guy's a clown show. I don't want to be a talking head. Like, you get the other guys on the show, and they're like, "Well, this is the most amazing clip I've ever seen," or you get some people like, "Well, if that were me, I would," and I just don't want to comment on it other than expletive deleted, expletive deleted. I don't know if it got pulled from the show or not, but I guess we'll see,
Yeah.
or not see.
I don't blame you for that. I mean, if they're bringing you in to comment honestly about a clip, and you get a clip like that, you got to be honest, right? You have to shoot straight with it. You have to tell them, listen, this isn't something that as you're bringing me in for my weight, for my gravitas in the field, and then you show me something like this. What am I supposed to say? I mean, you're throwing me a loaded ball here. I'm going to knock it out of the park, and obviously this is, as you said, it's a clown show. Why should I even give it any merit, right?
I'll always find ways to comment on clips that I don't necessarily endorse or believe in, and that's when you hear me speaking in generalities. Anytime you watch Paranormal Caught on Camera, and if you don't see me, maybe I just had nothing good to say, or some of the other commentators had better things to say, or if I'm speaking very vaguely, oh, Brian doesn't like this clip. He's speaking really vaguely. And for this one, I didn't want anyone to speak vaguely or otherwise. I just wanted this clip gone. So I know it's clickbait. I know it gets people views, and I know it gets people monetization on platforms such as YouTube. And yeah, I mean, my Scared Solo missions, I'll get 60 viewers. I'm not getting paid for that. But these guys, I mean, believe me, I understand even if I don't agree.
Understandable. With shows like Paranormal Caught on Camera, do you feel like it's is it helping as far as investigations go, as far as people getting out there into the field and doing it themselves?
I don't think it's necessarily a tool or a help for investigations, but I do think that it is one of the only shows that's getting the conversation started. I know just my involvement on it. When I first came on, I was mostly a ghost and spirit guy. Now I'm much more well-versed in ufology. I've dipped my toe into the cryptid end of things, and I'm a more well-rounded paranormal investigator and researcher now because of the things I've had to look at. And as opposed to the other shows that are on the air where you have your favorite investigator and you watch them week after week and they say, "Hey, listen to this recording." There's a implied contract there that, all right, you believe them, you like them, this is fact, this is truth. Now, I'm not saying anybody is making anything up, but at the same time, you watch Paranormal Caught on Camera, and there's some things that are really hinky, and people are like, "Oh, come on, that's so fake." Well, I didn't shoot it. We're talking about it. And if you think, "Oh, there's something wrong with this clip," then good. Don't just blindly believe what you see because my face is next to it, or Ronnie's face is next to it, or the marks are commenting on it. This is a dissection table. Yeah, let's look at it from every angle. And even though the show skews positive, they don't really spend a lot of time in the debunking arena. If you as the viewers say, I don't know about that, then that's good. We can have a debate. We can discuss this, and we can talk about, well, if this clip isn't genuine, well, let's talk about the concept. Let's talk about if you think it's a poltergeist, but you see strings, well, that doesn't invalidate poltergeist activity the world over throughout history. So let's talk about that.
So if the show skews more positive, does that mean that that's lightened your discernment when it comes to looking at clips, or do you still have your same skeptical look at each clip, and maybe you lighten your discernment a little bit for the camera?
I think the editors probably have a complaint reel put together for me because every show, and it's usually the first clip in each show. Usually it's the black shirts. It's the YouTubers that I just have nothing good to say about. And it's great. They're doing their thing. I did my thing. I think it's great that people are doing, but you don't usually see me to the middle to the end of the show because of that. I don't pull any punches, but what I will do is try to offer a different perspective. And whereas the marks are the, wow, that's the most amazing thing I've ever seen, Lynn will say something brilliant. You get the Ghost Brothers, who have kind of like the everyman take on things. And then you get me, and I'm wondering what my role is. And a lot of times it's, well, perhaps it's something deep and something vague, something very philosophical. And I think that's kind of been my role.
Right on. That's a good way of framing everything, I think. I mean, you've just brilliantly put it together to kind of give everybody a perspective of where everybody falls. I think it's kind of a good way of putting it.
Paranormal Caught On Camera is pretty much the inside out of the supernatural. Like all the voices in that person's head, that's each one of us. We each have a specific area that we're good at. And me, I'm the cynical New Yorker. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's a great show to watch, and that you do get sucked in on the clips, and you do want to find out where everybody stands on it, right? I mean, you have to find out where people stand on different things, and I think people look forward to seeing you on it because they really want to find out where you stand on it. They know that you're going to come down honestly on where these clips are.
I just love sneaking bits of pop culture into it, be it a quote, be it a reference. And I got to tell you, the producers and the editors have been really cool with letting this stuff go by. I've referenced Star Wars, the Twilight Zone. I've referenced so many different things on pop culture that are meaningful to me, and I know a lot of audience members. For 3 seasons on Haunted Collector, I was trying to get the phrase, "What's in the box?" on air, and they never would let me say it and get it. I'm like, they're just words. They're like, Brian, we know what you're trying to do. I'm like, come on. And there was one case where there literally was a chest in a room. We're getting readings from it. They pull me aside for my OTFs, and they're like, okay, tell us what's going on. So OTFs, I'm in night vision, of course, and the Batman voice comes. I'm like, well, we're doing our investigation. Chris and I are scanning the room, and I'm getting I'm getting a reading from this chest over here, and I really want to know what's in the box. It's relevant, and it made it through a couple of edits. And then one day we're having lunch, and the executive producer comes and he goes, you almost got it by us.
Oh.
But I'm like, no, but it's relevant. Like,
yeah.
I didn't go, what's in the box? I said, what's in the box?
Oh, come on. What's in the box?
What's in the box?
That would have been so good. Why not?
Had they just let me say that, Haunted Collector would still be on the air.
That's right. That's right. It was them that got it taken off the air, not you.
We'd be in season like 17 by now.
That's right. You would have tripled your syndication money. It's all their fault. Speaking of, I've noticed one of those people that still circulates in your orbit, one of those people that you still get together and you're still doing events with. You never are far away from is John Zaffis.
Ziggity, yeah.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about why it is, and I know why, but tell our audience why it is that you're never far away from each other's orbit.
John and I mean, I wrote about this in my book, how we met and how we started working together and how I got into Haunted Collector. And John's been a lot of different things to me: friend, brother, mentor, teacher, pain in my ass. But he's the Obi-Wan to my Anakin Skywalker, which means one day we're going to have a duel and he's going to knock me into a pit of lava and disfigurement. But we're in it for the same reason. We're both part of that Jedi Order, such as it is. And I know that if I need advice, if I need help, he's a phone call away. It's not even, when we first met him, Chris Mancuso and I produced a documentary for him called John Zaffis, The World Within, which was a documentary about his life. Mm-hmm. And at the end of it, when we were showing him the final cut, and we're sitting there in his office, and he's doing the John. He's just, pulling at his beard. Chris and I, we really wanted his approval. So like, John, did you like it? Are we friends now? And he goes, nah, we're family. Aww. It's like, oh. And it really has been that way since. We can bicker, we can gossip. We can have fun, and the guy's just a lot of fun to be around. I mean, anyone who's been with John Zaffis, I mean, look at all the pictures online from events and other different things. He's always smiling. He's a pleasure to be around, and a pain in the ass, but a pleasure to be around.
He is.
So that's why I continue to do things with him.
He's the only guy I let steal my knee caddy and ride around. So that's,
Yes.
yeah, I absolutely love him. He's a great guy. Great guy. Speaking of, and we'll talk about it a little bit more at the end of the show, but you have an event coming up, I believe, at Lilydale with both him and Dustin Perry, correct?
Yes. That's going to be a paranormal weekends at Lilydale Assembly. This is going to be a packed weekend. On Friday, Dustin and I are performing our Pathways performance. Saturday, we're going to be doing 3 lectures that are kind of intertwined with each other. Dustin, then me, then John. There's going to be Investigation on Saturday night. And then on Sunday, there's going to be a wrap about everything that we've experienced and done and learned. So if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, I suggest you go to my website, neverstopsearching.com, click that events tab, and get on over there. I want to see all of you there.
Yeah.
I can see you watching this right now, and I know what you're doing. Stop that.
Yeah, stop it. You shouldn't do that, especially while you're watching Brian. I mean, he is a sexy guy, but come on. Speaking of things to do, and which, by the way, that's a huge lineup, great lineup. And you're talking about also one of the people that's involved in the Mysterious Adventures Tours universe, which is Dustin Perry, another great investigator, another guy who is leaps and bounds above all the rest in the field. You're involved with Mysterious Adventures Tours, and there's a tour coming up. Again, talk about Halloween adventures, and one of the places I know which is absolutely magical when the veil is the thinnest is Ireland. And you've gotten together with Mysterious Adventures Tours to go to Ireland this Halloween. And I know of others who have gone to Ireland at Halloween and talked about how magical it is, what an amazing trip it is, and really how amazingly spiritual it is at Halloween. Tell me a little bit about your excitement to go to Ireland at Halloween.
Oh, man. Well, the roots, the origins of Halloween are Samhain, which originated in Ireland. That's their festival. We're going to be checking out the Puka Festival. We're going to be going to different locations throughout the country. And on October 31st, we're going to be doing an investigation of Lep Castle. It's going to be my first time there, so I'm excited to do it at all, but I'm definitely excited to do it on Halloween, in the place, in the land where it all began. So Mysterious Adventures Tours, I led one of their tours a few years back to Wales. And the tagline was castles, castles, castles. And we saw so many castles. It was amazing. We just forged friendship. We made bonds that last to this day. We did so much. We did more in those few days than most people do in a lifetime. Mm-hmm. And to go on a tour like this, it's about making memories. It's about creating an indelible mark on your mind that you can't get by sitting home and watching TV. Believe me, I love sitting at home on the couch and just watching movies or binging shows, but that's a staycation.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You get on a plane, you go to a foreign country. I want to get up with the sun and go, what new adventure am I going to face today? That's going to be a seize the daycation. Like, let's do it. And this trip to Ireland is going to be very much that. And I can't wait.
And I think you'd agree with me here, Brian. Anybody can try and get into a haunted asylum or go to any stateside type of investigation, and you can go with a group of 100 people and you can get lost in the sauce, right? But to go with an exclusive group where you're going to go for days at a time, and you're going to get to go with a seasoned investigator, one that you've seen on television. And it's not just, you're not just going to be out in a corner and have everybody roam. You're going to be intimately involved with everybody on this trip. You're going to make friends for a lifetime. I know it sounds wrong. I mean, not everybody's going to be in their underwear. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, you know what I mean? Everyone's going to get to know each other. Everyone's going to be friends by the end of this tour. And you're going to get to work one-on-one with them. If they have questions about things, you're going to be there.
That's what separates Mysterious Adventures from a lot of the other tour groups. And again, there's something out there for everyone. But if you want personal attention, if you want an ambassador like myself, like Dustin, like Grant Wilson, who is going to take the time to see your needs, and guide you through it. Because, all right, when I went to Wales, there were some people who were, a little unsure, a little scared. And I said, all right, nothing's going to happen to you while I'm here. We're all in this together. And it really made a close-knit group of people that to this day, I could pick up my phone and text any of them. We've all gotten that close. And anytime somebody sees something or there's an inside joke from back then, most of those cats are coming with me to Ireland. So this could be part 2 of the adventure.
That's
so anybody who hasn't joined up yet, you don't want to miss the boat. There's nothing worse than FOMO.
That's right. That's right. You're absolutely right. And again, it's going to be one of those things where you go on one, you bond with everybody, you're going to want to go on another, and then another, and another. And you're going to want to have these adventures around the world. And this is one of those adventures that I'm telling you folks that you're not going to want to miss. I mean, especially as Brian said, that it's really the birthplace of it all when it comes to Halloween. Tell you what, when we come back, we're going to take a break. We come back, we'll talk a little bit about just maybe some of the stuff that you may be looking forward to here as far as Halloween in Ireland goes. And if there's anything maybe that you may be wanting out of Halloween in Ireland. Brian, I'll ask you that question. Maybe there's a personal thing you're looking for. Maybe there's something that you going to Ireland, think about this during the break, something that you personally would like to get out of being in Ireland. I don't think I've ever asked that. I didn't ask Dacre that about Romania. I think I'll ask that of you when we come back. Brian J.Cano is our guest, and we're talking about Mysterious Adventures Tours and the fact that you can travel with Brian to Ireland. It's an immersive 11-day tour during Halloween in Ireland. We have a link in the description of this program. It's real simple. We'll also have this attached to darknessradioshow.com in the events page. So if you go to either spot, you just click on that link. It'll bring you right there, and you can sign up. I believe you can also break this down into payments as well. So Maria will work with you in that respect. Again, once in a lifetime opportunity, folks. You don't necessarily have to be of Irish heritage or relate to it in that respect in order to get that special feeling of being in Ireland during Halloween. I'll tell you, Brian's an amazing investigator. You're going to be in an amazing land for an amazing trip. So when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about Ireland and how you can join in for that 11-day trip to Ireland during Halloween. I'm so jealous. With Brian J.Cano next here on the Best in Paranormal Podcasting. This is Darkness Radio. Welcome back to the Best in Paranormal Podcasting. This is Darkness Radio. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. My guest is Brian J.Cano. You may know him from many different projects: Scared, Paranormal Caught On Camera, Haunted Collector, many, many more. We're talking, however, about how you can join him in Mysterious Adventures Tours in Ireland this Halloween. 11 days in Ireland. I'm telling you. Gosh, I'm so jealous, Brian. I'm so jealous. I'm not going to lie. Not going to lie. Okay, so before the break, I teased you about maybe there's something that you're looking forward to personally. I'm going to ask you to be selfish here, Brian. You're not a selfish person, but I'm going to ask you to be selfish here. Maybe one, maybe two, maybe three things you're looking forward to, you personally, about going to Ireland.
I think every place that I go to, I try to incorporate some of it into who I am, in the respect that those people who stay home, there's that famous saying that the world is a book, and those who don't travel only ever read one page. I want to read that whole book. I want to go everywhere. I want to look at that list of countries across this globe of ours and say, yep, done them all. And Ireland is a place I haven't been to yet. So for me, I want to go, I want to experience, but I also want to take some of it back with me. And I feel it's going to come in the form of some sort of specific spirituality. I'm very much a scientific minded person. I'm still a tech guy, although not as much as I was on Haunted Collector. But I want to have this sense of, yes, I've felt the fairy folk. I've felt the energy in the land and the people and the sky, and really know that it's not just something in a Hallmark movie or something that somebody told me. I want to experience it for myself so that I can come back and share it with others and say, yeah, no, this is real. Let's get on the same page.
You bring up an interesting point. We have a mutual friend who's passed, Rosemary Ellen Guiley, who had to sit me down and convince me that fairy folk were real. This was an interesting conversation from years ago at the Queen Mary, and we had a really great 2-hour lunch. And Rosemary sat me down and she said, "Why don't you believe?" I said, "I guess one, because I've never seen, me being of a skeptical mind." And we had this great 2-hour lunch where we sat and talked, and she broke it down for me. And she said, you would think that an entire country or countries that would build roads around fairy villages, you wouldn't think that they don't believe that it's real? Why would they take and build entire roads around villages? Fairy villages, knowing that there's a danger there, right? She set up different examples such as that. And I thought to myself, well, I've seen entire countries do things for worse reasons, and they don't necessarily make sense either. But, trying to maintain a skeptical mind, I guess. But as she was kind of presenting her facts to me and the things that she's found out about, or, and told me about, she was talking about that energy and the things that she had seen. And I thought to myself, okay, what do you do if you run across one of these things? I think I actually had asked her that question, and she had given me her answer. And I'll leave that between her and I. But I guess I would ask you this question. So you go to Ireland, you're there with Mysterious Adventures, you're there with a group. Let's say you happen across one of these fairy holdings or one of these fairy villages. What's your reaction the first time you run across one?
I guess that would depend on exactly what I'm seeing or sensing or experiencing. And that's the thing. It's easy to remain skeptical on your couch. But once you're out there in the thick of it, in the fields, doing qualitative research, it's harder to deny the things that you're witnessing with your own eyes, with your own senses. And with a group, yes, there could be that hysterical mob mentality of one person feels something and then it permeates everyone there, and maybe it wasn't a valid experience, but we all felt something. Or maybe the reverse is true in that, okay, a lot of us are very skeptical. We don't think, oh, this is just kitschy tourism. Oh, and then we experience something that flips that switch on, that is going to transform all of us, and we're going to go home with that. And you brought up the examples of the roads, and they're very careful to not disturb those fairy mounds, and they respect that which came before. Well, we had that in the Americas too, and we drove them off their land, and look what we did. So the West is very much a skeptical culture, whereas in other areas of the world, it's not a matter of is it or isn't it. It's yes, it exists, and it's just part of who we are. And again, like I said before, I want to bring some of that back with me, incorporate it into who I am. And it's going to be different for everyone. I'm sure there's going to be a couple of skeptics in our ranks, and none of anything I try to do is to try to convert anyone. But being a former skeptic myself, I know how to present things to say, hey, I was where you were. Now I'm here. I'm going to let you have your space to have your own experience. And Ireland, it doesn't need me. It'll do it for itself.
Because I believe it's day 3 you're at Pat Noon's Ferry Farm. Is that what it is? Yeah. And then you also that same day go to Lynch, Menlo, and Ross Castles. I mean, you're talking about a day where, like you said, from the time you get up to the time you go to bed, you're seeing these different castles. You're also
maximizing our existence.
Yeah. And it's the you're seeing these different pieces of history, but at the same time you're also in it for the experience, and you may have that experience. You may in the morning you may have that experience with a fairy. In the afternoon you may have that experience where you run into a spirit. Maybe you know.
Well, you know what it is? I think a lot of the skepticism comes from the labeling and the dissemination of what a fairy is. You say fairy, you think of Tinkerbell and Peter Pan, in the same way that you think of the djinn as a genie in a bottle, the reality of which, again, is a lot different. Fairy, okay, is just another type of spirit. Almost incomprehensible to us. We can't always perceive them. They're just another of the, I guess, bestiary of creatures and personalities and life forms that exist on our planet. We don't understand it, so it's very easy to say, oh, they don't exist. Yeah, maybe fluttering about and with wands and things like that, like the Disneyfication of it, but in their own way, in their own culture. This is what I'm looking to discover when we're there.
See, after talking to Rosemary, I wouldn't expect Tinkerbell anymore. No, far from it. Is it safe to say something akin to a gnat? Or maybe even not even that, maybe more of a feeling. And then if you do see a physical manifestation, you're lucky. Would that be a good way to put it?
Spirit is spirit. So whether we call it a fairy, a boggart, a troglodyte, a djinn, a spook, specter, revenant, there's so many different names for it, but it pretty much just describes, okay, there's something beyond, something we can't quite perceive that we know is there, or at least we think is there. We have to put a label on it because it makes us feel better that, all right, we got an understanding about the things around us that we can't see. And yeah, I mean, and unfortunately, like I said, fairy, the term has been also used in a derogatory manner, and it's language. In the same way that psychical research got the rebranding into parapsychology, yeah, maybe fairy needs a little bit of a modernization or rebranding just to make people take them seriously again.
Very true. Very true. Let's talk a little bit about Halloween at Leap Castle. Okay. And the actual thinning of the veil at a time that you're at this famous castle. Do you go into any situation with expectations, first of all, when you are either investigating, whether you're going to a famous location? Put me in your mindset for a second, because I know in the times where I've investigated, I try to clear my head. Like I'll give you an example. The time that I investigated Waverly Hills, I tried not, even though I know the history, I've talked to other investigators about it. I tried to go in with, even though everything's up here in my head, and I know the lay of the land almost before I walk into it. I tried to say to myself, this is me going in, hoping to have a fresh experience and not expect anything that's happened ever before to happen to me. Even though Leap Castle is very famous and has its own history, do you walk in thinking, this is just me going in and anything that happens? Or do you almost expect that maybe some of the things that have happened will happen at the same time that you're there?
I tend to have no expectations because I feel that's a fool's errand to try to go in and expect the same thing to happen. And that's the thing. If it does, it's probably residual. And okay, I can't communicate with that. This is not actually doing anything for me. One of my biggest pet peeves is that when I'm on an investigation or at an event, I'll hear someone go, oh, this is where X investigator from Y show, this happened to them. And I go, so? I'm more interested in what's happening to you. All right. What they did months ago or years ago. That was then. That was one instance. And if the exact same thing happens to you now, I mean, this is not an amusement park. We're not getting on a roller coaster ride where the track is fixed and it goes up and down and around and loops and wow, that was fun. All right, cool. If that's what you're in it for, then I understand. But for the serious investigator, it's our job. And for me as a researcher, it's my mission to expand the horizon of any place that I go to. So if something happens to me that doesn't match up with the history, what the tour guide says, and what other people say, and God forbid what the shows say, great. I'm adding to that collective knowledge. And perhaps there is an explanation for it in all those prior experiences. But I tell people, I say, look, this is going to be the only time that you and I are here together. This is a unique experience. And as such, anything that we feel tonight or witness is going to be unique. And as far as the expectations go, it's best to not have any because you'll probably meet them. It's like Yoda and Luke on Dagobah. Luke wants to go into the cave, goes, "What's in there?" Yoda says, "Only what you take with you." Which is pretty much saying, yeah, if you expect a fight, you're going to find one. If you go in there and what does he do? He puts on his weapon belt. And what does he do? He fights Vader.
Yeah.
Same thing with an investigation. If you go in with a clear mindset, you might have better contact. I remember I went to Bobby Mackey's years ago, and everyone's like, "Oh, Bobby Mackey's, oh, there's demons there. Oh, be careful, don't go there." Why? Because a certain investigative team went there and are getting possessed left, right, and center. That wasn't my mindset. And I went there, and the people that I went with, we had a great time. We listened to music, we laughed, we had fun. No one got possessed. No one got an attachment. All we left were good memories.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the way to do it. That's what travel is about. You want to make memories. And if you're expecting, I just had a conversation with an apprentice of mine yesterday, and she went to said person's museum in Vegas, and she was worried. She's like, "Oh my God, I'm worried that something's going to happen to me or my husband. Oh, we're going to leave with something." I said, "Well, first of all, it's Vegas. It's all a show.
Right.
But second of all, if you're going in there with that mindset, maybe don't go. I mean, I think you should go experience it, but experience it for what it is, not what it might be."
Right. Right. One of the more interesting, not that I'm not trying to put the fear of God into anybody, but one of the more interesting stops on the tour is towards the end of the tour, and that's the Hellfire Club. It's not just a T-shirt for Stranger Things. It is an actual place in Ireland. And for those who don't know, it really was a Masonic-like group of aristocrats that were there in Ireland.
So kids today talk about Stranger Things. My Hellfire Club was X-Men.
That's right. Mine too, right? Right? Sebastian Shaw. Now, is he going to be there when you walk in the door?
I'm looking for the White Queen. Forget Sebastian Shaw.
Yeah, that's true. Me too. And you never know. Jean Grey may be turned by the time you get there too. Right. So with the Hellfire Club, you never know. I mean, there might be a different feel to that building. To me, that's an interesting place to go, just to walk into, just to get that vibe, just to get to absorb that energy, to walk into a place of such rich history. Is that one of those places that you look forward to even just to see, not necessarily to pull out a meter or a recorder or to get a snippet of, but is that one of those places that you're really looking forward to being in?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've been to some of these hot spots all over the world. I've been through the Bermuda Triangle. I've gone to Loch Ness. I've been to Stonehenge. I've been on Oak Island. And every place I've gone to, whether the history is notorious or otherwise, I'm thinking, I'm here. Something happened here years ago where there's been an anomalies or there's been a sighting, and I'm here too. I've put my mark on it. I've come to it. And when I was a kid, I mean, this is a fulfillment of childhood promise to myself. I would watch In Search of with Leonard Nimoy. And I would always watch those end credits as, different scenes are going by. Stonehenge and Bigfoot. That female pilot who disappeared, whose name escapes me at the moment. Neither of us can remember. I will circle back around to that. And I would watch it and say, you know what? I'm going to go to those places. I'm going to solve all those mysteries. And young me didn't realize that there would be a life of working and taxes and nonsense.
Yeah.
But I'm still making time to go experience these places. It's not just on TV. I've sat in places where history has occurred, and it changes you. It really does. I mean, travel is infectious. You are never the same once you've experienced what other people have done, how they live, and you can't go back to the narrow mindset once you've seen the world, because it's a huge place, and we're just, I'm just happy to be in it. It's
to me, I guess the Hellfire Club, to kind of wrap that up, has that mystique about it. Much like being able to step into any old Masonic temple within whether it be Ireland, England, Scotland. It has that. I mean, you're talking about a club that closed somewhere in the 1700s, 1800s, where it has a mystical quality to it. It may have a darker feel to it, but at the same time, that you're in a place that maybe you shouldn't be, right? It has that feeling like maybe I shouldn't be here. And to me, that's always got that bit of intrigue, like, I've made it, right? And that's one of those draws, I think, to the trip that people should really be excited about. One of those.
Yeah, man, I'm a New Yorker. We had CBGBs. We had Studio 54. There's definitely places you should not be, but we went.
Right. I hear you there. You had mentioned the Puka Festival earlier. I've got the website in front of me and decided to pull it up here. And you guys are going to be making a stop there. And man, people say Puka Festival, but when I look at the video and the pictures of people dressed up in costume and the torches and the fire and the celebration, and man, I tell you, it looks like such fun. It just looks like a fun time. Is it something that you've first of all ever attended, or two seen before?
To be honest, I didn't even know about it until this tour. And Maria was saying, "Oh, we're going to go to the Puka Festival." I said, "What? The Pikachu Festival? I don't, what,
Pikachu.
That's Dustin, him and his Pokemon. No, that's not me." She goes, "No, this is," and she explained what it was. And I said, "Oh," and again, just being involved with the planning of this now, I've learned something more about this culture and about the history of what the season means. So to be able to see it for myself, and I feel like I'm lucky. I find out about it and I immediately get to see it instead of learning about it when I was 10 and waiting 4 decades to check it out. So yeah, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's just reading about Puka itself. It tells the origin story of Samhain or Summer's End in
Samhain.
Irish. What's that?
It's pronounced Samhain.
Oh, Samhain. I'm sorry. Not Samhain, Samhain. Sorry.
Although on the cartoon, The Real Ghostbusters, the living embodiment of Halloween, they called Samhain. Yeah.
Yes.
Spelled the same.
Yeah.
I said that for many, many years.
Yep. Samhain or Summer's End. In Irish or Celtic tradition, Samhain is the end of the harvest season when all the crops have been picked or stored for the new year. It was historically a time of celebration involving fighting fires, feasting on the crops of the harvest, music gathering, and storytelling. A familiar character in Ireland's narrative of Halloween, Puka is a shape-shifting character from the Celtic folklore that comes alive at the ancient New Year to roam the night and change the fortunes of those that cross it. So that's what you're celebrating.
I could deal with some fortune changing. Let's do it.
And this right here, I hate to be analog about that, but that's a Puka.
Okay.
Yeah. So the puka is the legendary creature known for its ability to shapeshift into various forms, often appearing as a horse, a goat, or a dark, shadowy figure. It's mischievous yet wise, and the puka can bring both blessings and tricks, embodying the mystical energy that defines Halloween in Irish folklore.
Puka, I choose you.
That's right, puka puka. I don't know if it says that. You have a feeling that the Pokemon people ripped it off? I don't know.
Who knows?
But the festival itself looks amazing. It's almost like it almost looks like they took it's like the Irish version of Mardi Gras.
It does look that way.
Yeah.
And I mean, for me, whether it was during my trip to Wales or to the upcoming Ireland trip, I'm a big pop culture person. So I remember one of the castles we went to, the movie Time Bandits had filmed there. And I was like, oh my God, Time Bandits. And I was probably the only person who was excited about that in our group. But for this trip, we're going to be going to the Cliffs of Moher, which cinematically is the Cliffs of Insanity from The Princess Bride.
All right.
And I know we got a lot of Princess Bride fans coming along with us that I wager at least 3 people are going to show up that day in costume. It's going to be fun.
That's right. You've got the cliffs on day 4. You've got the Cliffs of Moher in King John's Castle. So yeah, that's boy, yeah. You guys are packed on this trip. Yeah, you've got the Galway Halloween Parade on day 2, which will be amazing as well. You've got a lot packed here. You definitely can't be a couch potato if you're going on this trip, which is good. That is a good thing. It's the one thing I love again about Mysterious Adventures tours is that when you get out to these countries, you are going to experience the culture. You're going to get out there. You're going to see things. You're going to see castles. You're going to see, especially when you get to Ireland, you're going to see the fairy farm. You're going to get into the Puka Festival. You're going to see the Hellfire. Oh God, you're going to see the Hellfire Club.
That's what we're there to do. We're there to experience as much as we can. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. All right, if you've had too much fun on the Tuesday and you need to just stand down on Wednesday, that's okay. You can tap out. But the last thing I want to do on a tour to a foreign country is spend all my time in the hotel.
Yeah.
That's something. And for Wales, we did it all. We got up, we saw a bunch of stuff, we came back to the hotel, we took over the bar, and it was just everybody socializing and having a good time. So it wasn't either or for us. It was and I'm a big fan of and.
Right.
Because we can do it all.
Right. Yeah. And here's another and here. Also on day 6, Rathgale, Hillfort, and Duckett's Grove. I got to throw that in there too. And then on day 8, the hills of Tara and Ward. So you've got man, you've just got so much there. You've got so much, but it's so good. There's just so much there, and it's just so good. But 11 days of goodness there in Ireland. It's
going to go so quickly.
It's going to go quickly.
It's going to go in the blink of an eye.
It is, and it's going to go very quickly. But there's a 10-month payment plan available for this, so you can break it down and make it digestible, because we know it's coming up very quickly. It's coming up in October, of course, and you can get $100 off right now with that 10-month payment plan. There's a summer sale going on right now, so that makes it even more affordable. So
hey, look at that. So many people post when I post about it. Their comments are, I wish. Well, your wishes come true. It's almost like the fairies have said, let's make it happen. And you can go. And because, and that's the one thing, Mysterious Adventures is the only company that does this with the 10-month payment plan that can extend beyond the trip itself. So even though we are less than 10 months out, yeah, you can travel now, pay later.
That's right.
And you're gonna have these amazing experiences that you're gonna think, God, I'm so glad I went. Yeah, this is best check I've written all year.
That's right. And again, a once in a lifetime trip for you to go during Halloween to the place where it started, the place that started it all. So again, let's remind them, Brian, about your appearances here stateside, Lilydale in August, correct?
Mm-hmm. Lilydale in August. That's actually coming up next week, not this coming weekend, but the following weekend. Then in September, I'm going to be joining back up with Dustin Parry at the Bell Mansion in Fort Wayne, Indiana. The boys are back at the Bell for one last hurrah before it changes hands. I've got actually later this month in August, I think in 2 or 3 weeks, I'm personally going to be in Gettysburg down for an event. September, I'll be up at Haunted Palmyra in northern New York. A lot going on. Like I said, just keep an eye on my website, neverstopsearching.com, and anytime I get a new event, I add it to the events page.
All right. We'll have a link to Brian's website as well, neverstopsearching.com, so you can keep track of where Brian's going to be. Of course, we have a link to mysteriousadventurestours.com. You can go through darknessradioshow.com in the events tab in case you can't remember that. And of course, Halloween in Ireland with Brian. $100 off, 10-month payment plan. There is no reason not to go with Brian to Ireland. This is the trip of a lifetime, and you're going to want to do that and get in today, because I tell you, there are very few spots left for this tour. So you want to get there today. You want to get there now. This trip is going to sell out. You're not going to be able to get there within the next week or two. So you're going to want to get on there right now. You're going to want to get on there and get there. And by all means, take a friend. And take a friend you love, because this trip is going to be something special. Halloween in Ireland, the place where it all started, with a seasoned investigator, one of the best in the business. You're going to be able to brag to your friends that you had the trip of a lifetime. So do it today.
We also got to put this out to the people who don't like to be told what to do. It's like, oh, you can't tell me what to do. Don't come. Don't sign up. Don't go to that website. Whatever you do, do not sign up for the payment plan. Don't get on that plane. Don't come to that hotel.
Yeah.
Don't come on the tour with me. Yep. Don't hang out with me at the bar.
That's right.
After the tour. No. Don't do that.
Nope. Don't take Brian's number down and be a lifetime friend. Nope. Don't need you. Nope.
Don't do that. Whatever you do, don't.
Nope. That's for sure. Brian, I want to thank you so much for being on the show today, my friend.
Thanks for having me, Tim.
Thank you. Folks, I want to remind you of a couple of things before we leave you today. One, if you're listening to the show and not watching the show, it's real simple. It's the original Darkness Radio on YouTube. If you can't remember that, well, it's real simple. Just go to darknessradioshow.com, click on the show you want to watch. You'll see both the video and audio there. Click on the video and then like and subscribe afterwards. 2, the Darkness Radio app for Apple is available and upgradable if you need to, or updatable. Do so, please. 3, the Palmer House event is on and popping this weekend. There's still just a couple of tickets left. There's not very much left, maybe 2 or 3. If you want to swipe one and come help us support the animals, it's Potographs for Pooches at the Palmer this weekend. Please help us support the animal shelter in St. Cloud. It's a pet project of mine, so please help myself, Tim and Lauren Miley, and Scotty Rourke this weekend help the animals. We'd appreciate it if you would. There are single-day tickets available for $59. You can come join us either Friday or Saturday if you'd like. There's still 1 or 2 rooms available at the Palmer House Hotel. So potographsforpooches.com, or go to the events tab at darknessradioshow.com. Remember, this weekend, it's going to be a gorgeous weekend. Go out and enjoy it, but also take a disabled person or an elderly person with you. Get them out of the house and enjoy together. Just a note from your friends here at Darkness Radio. For Mally Fox, for Jessica Freeberg, for Beer City Bruiser, I'm Tim Dennis. Thank you so much for watching and listening to the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio.